What does it truly mean to navigate life solo when you've reached your 8th decade? Many people picture serene evenings, complete independence, and the luxury of doing exactly what you want when you want. Yet the authentic experience often unfolds quite differently from these romanticized visions. Entering your 80s while living independently presents obstacles that rarely make their way into everyday conversations, and confronting them demands raw honesty, inner fortitude, and an openness to reinvent yourself. Today, we're exploring 9 unvarnished realities of solo living beyond age 80. Some revelations might catch you off guard, while others may resonate with painful familiarity, but each one emerges from genuine experiences shared by seniors who've navigated this path themselves. From the profound ache of isolation to pressing concerns about personal safety and declining health, we'll examine what it genuinely means to chart your course independently after turning 80. Stay with me through the entire discussion, because you'll discover not only these formidable challenges, but also practical strategies to not just survive, but flourish, even during life's most difficult chapters. Let's begin this important conversation. Reality number 1, the crushing weight of isolation. Reaching your 80s while living solo can deliver the independence many younger generations dream about. Yet this very freedom often carries an unexpected burden of isolation that cuts deeper than most dare to acknowledge. Hours stretch endlessly, particularly following those increasingly rare family gatherings when loved ones return to their busy lives, leaving behind an echoing silence that seems to magnify with each passing season. You might catch yourself yearning for the simple sound of another person moving through the house, or desperately wishing someone was there to share an ordinary dinner conversation about nothing particularly important, yet everything meaningful. The absence becomes a presence all its own, filling rooms with an emptiness that no amount of television or radio can truly dispel. This isolation extends far beyond emotional discomfort. It manifests in tangible ways that affect your physical well-being. Medical research demonstrates that chronic loneliness significantly elevates risks for depression, anxiety disorders, and cardiovascular complications. Without a household companion to notice subtle changes in your behavior, remind you about medication schedules, or simply observe when something seems amiss, minor concerns can gradually evolve into serious health crises. There are days when your phone remains silent from sunrise to sunset, when no familiar face appears at your door. And despite your best efforts to fill the time with activities and hobbies, there's an unmistakable longing for meaningful human connection that gnaws at your spirit. Consider Margaret, 85, who maintains her independence in a cozy apartment downtown. She's established daily routines, speaks with her son twice weekly, and works hard to project cheerfulness during these conversations. Yet some evenings the profound quiet becomes almost unbearable. What she misses most intensely isn't lengthy discussions or grand social gatherings, but simply having another soul present, someone to witness her small daily victories, to share a spontaneous chuckle over something silly, or to provide the irreplaceable comfort that comes from being truly seen and understood by another human being. Even when you've spent decades valuing your independence and self-sufficiency, the stark reality of confronting each sunrise completely alone can demand a more significant emotional adjustment than you ever anticipated. Mental health professionals emphasize the importance of creating small but consistent opportunities for connection, whether through brief conversations with neighbors, participation in community programs, or simply making it a point to reach out to someone each day, even if just for a few minutes. Isolation represents one of life's harshest truths for aging adults, but acknowledging its weight openly and actively seeking moments of genuine human warmth can gradually transform an empty existence into something more purposeful and emotionally sustaining. Reality number 2, the mountain of everyday tasks. When you're living independently after 80, household responsibilities that once felt as natural as breathing can suddenly transform into daunting physical and mental challenges. Simple tasks like hauling grocery bags from your car, wrestling with a load of wet laundry, or maneuvering a full trash bin to the curb become complex undertakings that require careful planning, considerable physical effort, and often a surprising amount of mental preparation, particularly when your strength, stability, or stamina aren't what they once were. Every mundane activity now demands strategic thinking and sometimes genuine courage, knowing full well that there's no backup plan if something goes wrong during the process. What previously required just a few effortless minutes, making your bed properly, thoroughly sweeping every corner of a room, or organizing items on high shelves, can now stretch into exhausting projects that leave you drained and sometimes discouraged that your body refuses to cooperate the way it did even just a few short years ago. Sometimes the mounting frustration transforms into deep embarrassment, creating an emotional barrier that makes reaching out to neighbors or family members feel nearly impossible. There's an intense desire to maintain your autonomy and prove you can still handle everything independently. But there's also a growing and uncomfortable awareness of your physical limitations that seems to expand with each passing month. Think about Charles, 87, who once took enormous pride in maintaining his two-story home to perfection. These days, simply changing his bed sheets leaves him breathless and unsteady, while carrying a basket of clothes up from the basement laundry room feels genuinely dangerous rather than routine. He treasures his independence fiercely and has worked his entire life to avoid being a burden to others. Yet he increasingly worries about what might happen if he stumbles and falls while attempting these everyday chores alone in his house. Like countless other seniors facing similar struggles, Charles finds himself reluctant to mention these growing challenges to his children or grandchildren, not wanting to worry them unnecessarily or admit how dramatically his capabilities have changed in such a relatively short period of time. Healthcare experts consistently advise practicing self-compassion during this difficult transition and learning to request assistance before minor household tasks escalate into genuine safety hazards. Numerous communities provide support services for meal preparation, house cleaning, and essential errands. Resources specifically designed to help lighten your daily load while keeping you secure in your own home for as long as possible. If you're still engaged with this content and finding these insights valuable and thought-provoking, please comment the number 2 below to let me know you're actively following along. If you haven't yet subscribed to our channel, I strongly encourage you to subscribe and activate notifications so you won't miss any of our future videos. Your ongoing support enables us to continue producing meaningful content designed to inform, educate, and genuinely inspire you. Now, let's continue with our important discussion. Reality number 3, the paralyzing fear of accidents and injuries. As decades accumulate behind you, one of the most persistent and anxiety-provoking concerns for anyone maintaining independent living after 80 becomes the terrifying possibility of falling, getting seriously injured, or experiencing a medical emergency with absolutely no one nearby to provide immediate assistance or call for professional help. Every movement throughout your day becomes something requiring conscious thought and careful consideration, whether you're navigating from your bedroom to the bathroom during dark nighttime hours, carefully stepping into your shower while managing soap-slippery surfaces, or reaching upward to retrieve items from cabinets that suddenly seem much higher than they used to be. Even the most fiercely independent seniors begin developing an unfamiliar sense of caution that sometimes borders on genuine anxiety, because the potential consequences of a single misstep become exponentially more serious when you're completely alone in your home. A solitary slip or stumble could result in hours of helpless waiting, or even days of being incapacitated and unable to reach your telephone for emergency assistance. The haunting mental image of lying injured and alone, unable to call for help while time passes agonizingly slowly, becomes a very real source of daily worry for many older adults living independently. This pervasive fear extends far beyond immediate physical danger. It gradually erodes confidence in your own abilities, causing you to second-guess routine movements and activities or completely avoid pursuits that previously brought genuine joy and satisfaction. For some individuals, it means adopting an unnaturally cautious, shuffling gait, keeping lights illuminated throughout the night, even when trying to sleep, or positioning a telephone within arm's reach of every spot where you might rest during the day. Consider the experience of Franklin, 86, who never previously gave a second thought to moving confidently around his familiar apartment space. Following a seemingly minor stumble in his kitchen that left him bruised, shaken, and deeply rattled, Franklin discovered himself hesitating anxiously before every trip down his hallway or to another room. Even simple pleasures like tending his small balcony herb garden or standing at his stove to prepare a proper meal began, feeling unnecessarily risky rather than naturally enjoyable. This kind of accident-related fear can gradually infiltrate every aspect of daily living, transforming your home from a comfortable sanctuary into a space filled with potential hazards lurking around every corner, making you feel like a prisoner of your own excessive caution. Safety experts strongly recommend taking proactive steps to make your living space as secure as possible, including installing sturdy grab bars in bathroom areas, placing non-slip mats in potentially dangerous spots, and wearing shoes with excellent traction even when moving around indoors. Modern technology solutions like emergency alert systems, smart watches with fall detection, or medical pin alarms can also provide significant peace of mind for both you and your loved ones. While these fears are entirely understandable and based in legitimate concern, implementing a few practical safety modifications can make a tremendous difference in your daily confidence level, allowing you to move through your space with greater freedom and substantially less constant worry about potential accidents. Reality number 4, the sobering challenge of health complications. When you're maintaining independent living after 80, health issues that might have been easily dismissed or quickly resolved in previous decades can rapidly escalate from minor inconveniences to major life-disrupting crises. A persistent cough, elevated temperature, dizzy spells, or unusual fatigue that you might have powered through in younger years now carries significantly more serious implications and potential complications. With no other person sharing your living space to monitor your condition, notice when you're not eating normally, track whether you seem more tired than usual, or encourage you to seek medical attention when something doesn't seem quite right, it becomes dangerously easy to minimize concerning symptoms until they develop into genuine medical emergencies requiring immediate intervention. Managing multiple medications according to complex schedules, remembering numerous medical appointments with different specialists, keeping track of changing health insurance requirements, and monitoring your body's evolving needs all become responsibilities that rest entirely on your own shoulders. You might find yourself feeling more physically drained than usual, struggling to maintain energy levels for activities that once felt effortless, or experiencing new aches and limitations that seem to appear almost overnight. Sometimes, even the prospect of arranging transportation to medical appointments, coordinating prescription pickups from the pharmacy, or navigating insurance paperwork can feel completely overwhelming when you're already not feeling your best and trying to manage everything independently. Consider the story of Eleanor, 88, who has always taken tremendous pride in handling her own medical care without assistance from others. When she developed what seemed like a simple head cold last spring, Eleanor decided to treat it at home with over-the-counter remedies, not wanting to trouble her daughter, who lives an hour away and has her own demanding responsibilities. Within several days, Eleanor found herself severely dehydrated, running a dangerous fever, and too weak to get out of bed safely or even reach her telephone to call for help. It was only when her postal carrier noticed that mail had been accumulating in her mailbox for 3 consecutive days that someone realized Eleanor needed immediate medical attention. She recovered fully after hospital treatment, but Eleanor now readily admits that living alone means she must be much more vigilant about recognizing her physical limitations and much quicker to seek professional help when her instincts tell her something isn't right with her health. Healthcare professionals consistently recommend keeping an easily accessible list of emergency contacts, maintaining regular communication about health concerns with family members or trusted friends, and never hesitating to seek medical evaluation early in the course of any illness or concerning symptoms. Health challenges represent one of the most serious truths about independent living at an advanced age. But confronting these realities honestly and developing a comprehensive support plan can make an enormous difference in maintaining both safety and overall well-being. Reality number 5. The struggle with proper nutrition and meal planning. For numerous older adults living independently, mealtimes gradually transform from pleasant social experiences into one of the most challenging aspects of each day. Preparing meals for just one person can begin to feel like significantly more effort than the end result justifies, and the simple pleasure of sharing food with others fades into a mechanical routine, or, worse yet, complete dietary neglect when energy levels are low or appetite seems to have disappeared entirely. You might discover yourself eating identical meals day after day simply because they require minimal preparation, becoming overly dependent on processed frozen dinners that lack proper nutritional value, or occasionally skipping meals altogether when cooking feels like too much work or when you realize you're just not particularly hungry for anything specific. Over extended periods of time, this gradual decline in nutritional quality can significantly impact your overall health and well-being. It becomes surprisingly easy to let fresh fruits and vegetables disappear from your regular diet, to repeatedly choose convenient processed foods that contain excessive amounts of sodium, sugar, or artificial preservatives, or to forget about maintaining proper hydration throughout the day, when there's no dining companion present to encourage balanced eating habits. Notice if you're unintentionally losing weight or express concern about changes in your eating patterns. Significant dietary shifts can continue undetected for many months or even years. This slow but steady nutritional decline can gradually affect your energy levels, emotional stability, cognitive function, and even your body's ability to fight off infections and recover from minor illnesses or injuries. Take the example of Robert, 79, who previously enjoyed preparing elaborate family feasts and took great pride in his culinary skills during holiday gatherings. After his beloved wife passed away 2 years ago, Robert completely lost interest in cooking anything beyond the bare minimum and frequently settled for nothing more substantial than a peanut butter sandwich or a can of tomato soup for his evening meal. Over time, Robert began experiencing unusual weakness, difficulty concentrating, and a general sense of malaise that he attributed simply to normal aging. A routine medical examination revealed multiple vitamin deficiencies and concerning weight loss that his doctor directly linked to poor nutrition. Robert's health and energy levels only began improving after a concerned neighbor convinced him to join a community senior lunch program, where he could enjoy nutritious meals while socializing with others facing similar challenges. Nutrition specialists strongly recommend planning simple but nutritionally balanced meals in advance, keeping healthy snacking options readily available in your home, and exploring meal delivery services or community dining programs specifically designed for older adults. Sharing meals with others, even if only occasionally through organized programs or informal neighborhood gatherings, can significantly lift your spirits while supporting much better dietary habits and overall health outcomes. The challenge of maintaining proper nutrition while living alone represents a genuine and frequently overlooked reality of independent senior living. However, with some advanced planning and willingness to accept community support, it remains entirely possible to stay properly nourished, maintain your strength, and even rediscover some enjoyment in mealtimes. Reality number 6, the battle against apathy and loss of structure. Without the regular presence of family members, a life partner, or frequent visitors coming and going from your home, maintaining motivation and enthusiasm for daily activities can evolve into one of your most significant ongoing battles. When you're living completely alone after 80, it becomes all too tempting to let established routines gradually slide away, to find yourself lingering in bed much longer than necessary each morning, watching television for hours at a time, or indefinitely postponing small tasks and projects simply because there's no one present to notice your productivity level or provide gentle encouragement to stay active and engaged. You might begin each new day with genuinely good intentions and a mental list of things you'd like to accomplish, but the pervasive silence and stillness that fills your living space can make it increasingly difficult to generate the energy and momentum needed to actually get moving and start being productive. For many older adults, Even activities that previously brought considerable joy and satisfaction, such as tending a garden, reading engaging books, taking scenic walks around the neighborhood, or pursuing creative hobbies, gradually begin to feel more like tedious obligations rather than pleasant pastimes, particularly when there's no one available to share these experiences with or celebrate small daily accomplishments. This gradual loss of structure and purpose can slowly but steadily drain your mental energy and cause individual days to blend together into an undifferentiated blur of time passing without clear meaning or direction. Consider the experience of Rose, 84, who always found great pleasure in creating beautiful quilts and spending peaceful hours working in her backyard flower garden. After her closest friend moved to an assisted living facility across town, Rose found herself drifting aimlessly through each day, struggling to maintain interest in any activity for more than a few minutes at a time. She missed the gentle motivation and natural accountability that comes from being connected to someone else's daily rhythm and routine, someone who might ask about her projects or notice when she seemed less engaged than usual. Mental health professionals emphasize that establishing a structured daily schedule, setting achievable short-term goals for yourself, and finding creative ways to maintain personal accountability can make a remarkable difference in your overall sense of purpose and life satisfaction. Even simple strategies like writing a brief daily to-do list, scheduling regular phone conversations with friends or family members, or committing to specific weekly activities can help maintain a meaningful sense of direction and prevent the gradual slide into apathy that affects so many seniors living independently. If you're continuing to watch this content and finding these insights valuable and personally relevant, please comment the number 6 below to show me you're actively engaged in this important discussion. If you haven't yet subscribed to our channel, I highly recommend subscribing and turning on notifications so you won't miss any of our upcoming videos. Your continued support helps us keep creating meaningful content designed to inform, educate, and genuinely inspire you to live your best life possible. Now, let's move forward with our discussion. Reality number 7, the heavy burden of financial stress. Managing your finances after turning 80 can become a significant source of ongoing stress and anxiety, particularly when you're living independently and every dollar in your budget must be carefully considered and allocated. Fixed retirement incomes, steadily rising medical expenses, unexpected home repairs, and the increasing cost of basic necessities all combine to create financial pressure that can feel overwhelming at times, especially when there's no life partner available to share the economic burden or help make difficult spending decisions. Many seniors find themselves obsessively reviewing every single expense, postponing necessary repairs or purchases indefinitely, or lying awake at night feeling anxious about what financial challenges the future might bring their way. The persistent worry often extends beyond simple mathematics and budget calculations. It frequently involves deep concerns about maintaining dignity, preserving independence, and avoiding the need to ask for financial assistance from family members who may have their own economic pressures and responsibilities. Sometimes the anxiety isn't solely about current financial constraints, but also about pride, self-sufficiency, and the strong desire to remain completely independent even as living costs continue climbing while your income remains essentially fixed at the same level year after year. Let's consider the situation of Thomas, 81, who worked diligently throughout his entire career and saved conscientiously for retirement, believing he had adequately prepared for his golden years. Now facing annual property tax increases, a 20-year-old car that requires frequent costly repairs, and prescription medications that seem to get more expensive every month, Thomas finds himself making increasingly difficult financial choices that affect his quality of life. He deeply wants to remain in the home where he's lived for 3 decades, but the constant worry about monthly expenses makes it nearly impossible to relax and truly enjoy the retirement freedom he worked so hard to achieve. Financial advisors consistently recommend maintaining a detailed monthly budget, seeking guidance from qualified financial counselors who specialize in senior economic planning, and reaching out for available assistance programs before minor financial concerns escalate into major crises that could threaten your independence. Numerous federal, state, and local programs exist specifically to support older adults with housing costs, food expenses, utility bills, and medical care, resources that many eligible seniors never learn about or are too proud to investigate. The burden of financial worry represents a harsh daily reality for countless individuals living alone after 80. But with proper planning, professional guidance, and knowledge of available resources, these concerns don't have to completely overshadow or ruin the years you've worked so hard to reach and enjoy. Reality number 8. The constant vigilance against predators and fraud. Living independently after 80 can unfortunately make you a target for various risks and threats that weren't as pressing when you were younger or had another person sharing your household. One of the most challenging and emotionally draining realities involves the growing number of sophisticated scams, fraud attempts, and dishonest individuals who specifically target older adults as potential victims. From convincing telephone calls claiming to be from government agencies, official-looking emails requesting personal information, to aggressive door-to-door salespeople promising home improvements, or even strangers appearing at your door during evening hours with various stories and requests, the constant need to remain suspicious and on guard can become both mentally exhausting and genuinely intimidating. Modern fraudsters are exceptionally skilled at sounding legitimate and trustworthy, making it increasingly difficult to distinguish between genuine offers and elaborate deception, or to know when it's appropriate to politely decline versus when you should feel comfortable engaging with someone. Even routine activities like collecting mail from your mailbox, answering your telephone, or responding to seemingly official correspondence can trigger anxiety, particularly if you've already experienced a close call with fraud or know someone in your community who has lost significant money to scammers. For many older adults, the persistent fear of making a costly mistake or being taken advantage of financially adds an unwelcome layer of stress and suspicion to daily life that can gradually erode trust in everyone and make social interactions feel risky rather than enjoyable. Consider the experience of Evelyn, 91, who always prided herself on successfully managing all her personal and financial affairs without assistance from anyone. After being deceived by an official-looking mail solicitation that resulted in unauthorized charges to her credit card, Evelyn felt deeply embarrassed and frustrated with herself for falling victim to fraud, making her reluctant to discuss the incident even with her own adult children. That single experience of being deceived made Evelyn extremely cautious about any unsolicited contact, but it also contributed to increased social isolation as she became hesitant to engage with anyone she didn't know personally, worried about risking another unpleasant and costly surprise. Consumer protection experts consistently recommend never sharing personal or financial information during unsolicited phone calls, being extremely wary of anyone requesting immediate payments or urgent decisions, and discussing any suspicious encounters openly with trusted family members or friends rather than trying to handle everything completely alone. Many communities offer educational workshops and dedicated hotlines specifically designed to help seniors stay informed about current scam tactics and learn how to protect themselves effectively. While maintaining reasonable vigilance and caution is absolutely important for your safety and financial security, it's equally essential not to allow fear of potential fraud to isolate you completely from legitimate social interactions and community connections. A healthy level of informed caution can go a long way toward keeping you safe, while still preserving your independence and ability to engage meaningfully with the world around you. Reality number 9. The complex dance of memory and mourning. After reaching 80, while living alone, you often find yourself surrounded by extended periods of quiet solitude that naturally cause old memories to surface with surprising intensity. Some of these recollections bring warmth and comfort, while others carry profound sadness and a sense of loss that can be difficult to process alone. The photographs displayed throughout your home, furniture pieces that hold special significance, personal belongings that belong to loved ones, even familiar scents and everyday sound within your living space can unexpectedly trigger a complex mixture of nostalgia, longing, and deep sorrow. Many older adults discover that grief isn't something that ever completely disappears or gets resolved, but rather something that visits in unpredictable waves, sometimes arriving when you're feeling relatively content and catching you completely off guard. Losing a spouse after decades of shared life, watching close friends pass away or move to care facilities, or even saying goodbye to a cherished pet creates a profound sense of absence that seems to echo through every corner of your daily existence. Special occasions like holidays, birthdays, wedding anniversaries, and other meaningful dates can feel particularly difficult to navigate alone. There's undeniable comfort in preserving connections to the past and honoring precious memories. But there's also a sometimes overwhelming emotional weight in gradually realizing that so many important moments, shared experiences, and beloved people now exist only in your own memory and heart. This emotional reality can be especially challenging to share with others, particularly when well-meaning family members or friends encourage you to move forward, focus on positive things, or try not to dwell on the past, without fully understanding the complex nature of long-term grief and remembrance. Take the example of Alice, 89, who continues having quiet conversations with her deceased husband while she prepares her morning coffee each day. She deliberately keeps his favorite coffee mug prominently displayed on the kitchen shelf and finds genuine comfort in maintaining many of their shared daily routines and traditions. However, there are days when the sharp ache of permanent loss feels as immediate and overwhelming as it did during the first months after his passing, making it challenging for Alice to separate feelings of grateful joy for their years together from the profound sorrow of knowing those days are gone forever. Alice explains that the most difficult aspect isn't necessarily the loneliness itself, but rather the way cherished memories seem to rush in all at once during quiet moments, making it nearly impossible to distinguish between celebration of a life well lived and mourning for what has been permanently lost. Grief counselors and mental health professionals encourage honoring and celebrating your precious memories while finding meaningful ways to acknowledge the lives of those you've loved and lost, and seeking emotional support when the weight of grief feels too heavy to carry entirely alone. Support groups, faith communities, counseling services, or even regular conversations with a trusted friend can help distribute some of that emotional burden and provide perspective during the most difficult periods. The bittersweet reality of living with profound memories while experiencing ongoing grief represents a fundamental truth for many individuals living alone after 80, but can also serve as a source of deep wisdom, emotional resilience, and profound appreciation for the richness and meaning of the life journey you've experienced and continue to live. As we conclude this honest and comprehensive examination of independent living after 80, I encourage you to take a moment to reflect thoughtfully on these 9 significant realities we've explored together. Which particular truth touched your heart most deeply, caused you to pause and consider your own life circumstances, or made you think more carefully about someone you care about who may be facing these exact challenges? Confronting these difficult realities requires considerable courage and emotional strength, and simply acknowledging them openly represents the essential first step toward finding genuine solutions, building meaningful support systems, and creating positive changes in your life or the lives of others you love. You are absolutely not alone in whatever struggles you may be experiencing, and there is genuine strength and wisdom in honestly admitting what aspects of life feel difficult, while also recognizing what continues to bring hope, meaning, and joy to your daily existence. Even while facing these significant challenges, life after 80 can still be filled with purpose, deep connections with others, and countless small moments of genuine happiness and satisfaction. With every difficult truth comes a corresponding opportunity to ask for help when you need it, to reach out and connect with others who understand your experience, to establish new daily routines that support your well-being, or to discover unexpected comfort and wisdom in cherished memories and life experiences. Remember that everyone's journey through these later years is unique and personal, And there is absolutely no shame in leaning on others for support or exploring creative new approaches to finding fulfillment and contentment in this stage of life. Thank you sincerely for joining me today for this important and meaningful conversation. I would genuinely love to hear your thoughts and personal reflections. Please leave a detailed comment below sharing one specific insight you gained from our discussion today and how you plan to apply this new understanding in your own life or in your relationships with others. Your personal thoughts and experiences are incredibly valuable to our community, so please don't hesitate to share them openly and honestly. Reading your thoughtful comments provides tremendous motivation and encouragement for me to continue creating content that truly makes a difference in people's lives. If you found this video helpful, informative, or emotionally meaningful, please take a moment to like it, subscribe to our channel, and share it with others who might benefit from this discussion. Your ongoing support enables us to continue producing thoughtful, substantial content designed to inform, educate, and genuinely inspire positive changes in the lives of our viewers. Thank you for watching today, and I look forward to connecting with you again in our next video, where we'll continue exploring topics that matter deeply to you and your loved ones.